The property that we sold up on Highway 9 was definitely a very unique property. You had a lot of different elements in it, such as it was basically an entire retreat center is essentially how it was built. And then we had unique challenges being in the mountains, being a property that doesn't have direct access into it, and kind of just everything that comes along with mountain living in Santa Cruz County. We had actually met this seller through another agent in the Bay Area who had called to say, I've done a lot of luxury properties before, but I've never had to deal with anything in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And it's something that you guys were recommended to me of people that could take on this challenge and kind of help me get through there so that the client receives the best care possible. And then also that the property gets sold and treated in the way that it needs to be for something this unique. The seller had originally built this property in a complete fixer-upper kind of shape. It was previously used as a grow house for some certain organic materials, and he had purchased it and then put well over $1 million of work into it in order to bring it into the current state that it's in, which is, if you have to think of like a quality scale of like a grading A+ to F, this was definitely like an A++ kind of property. The seller had taken care of basically everything, used only top of the line materials, had thought of every little thing that you could think of as far as amenities go, from the highest quality decking around the house, fireproofing, or at least fire hardening as much as possible around the house, being in a very fire prone area. He had Tesla power walls, Tesla solar. He had very intricate HVAC system throughout the house in order to divide it into multiple zones so you could heat or cool one part of the house but not the other. So because we knew this was such a unique property, we weren't going to just use the same photos and videos that you see any other agents use. We brought in a top-tier professional team where we did the typical, here's your photos, here's your 3D walkthrough of the house, and here's a video of the house. But then we took it an extra step because we weren't going to be able to have open houses at the house or even a broker's tour just because of some of the access issues. And we wanted anybody that saw it online to get a real idea of what is it like to live there. So what we did was we hired a team to create like a whole cinematic experience where we could actually show off what is it like to work in Silicon Valley, drive home at the end of the day, and completely unlock and relax in this house. It shows her pulling up to the property and then, doing yoga, making coffee. This thing had expansive views across the valley, like just some A+ ridiculous views. And then it also showed off her hiking around the 2 miles of trails that the seller had cut in order to have their own private hiking network. Again, when it's something that you're not able to get every potential buyer through the property because of some of those challenges, we really wanted to highlight it online, since we know that really the statistic is 99%, but really just about 100% of all people are going to see it online first before they go see it in person. Some of the challenges that we had to overcome were dealing with some access into the property because there's a long road that goes over another piece of property to even get there. There are well considerations, septic considerations. The whole property could essentially almost be an off-grid property itself. So then we had to do some extra inspections to make sure everything was in tip-top shape, on top of our normal home inspection and pest inspection that we'll do most of the time. Because we were able to have so much information and kind of that lifestyle experience beforehand, we ended up only needing to show the property to a small handful of qualified potential buyers for the home. This allowed us to select the best offer that we could in a relatively short time frame, especially for a property of this scale, selling it in just 28 days on market. In this case, the buyer had still elected to do some of their own inspections for their own consideration, and we allowed for that through an inspection contingency, but then we were closed just another short 30 days later. So after just under 30 days on the market and then about 30 days in escrow, from the time that we hit the market to closing, we were sitting right around that 60-day mark, and we sold the property for just 3% less than the asking price that we had started with, in order to accommodate for some of those things that came up during the inspection period. So overall, we had a great experience with this property. We're very thankful to the other agent that had referred her longtime client who she's done several transactions with. So referred basically her friend to us to take care of them. And we're very appreciative of the sellers allowing us to really do as much as we could in terms of the media, photos and videos to really make the property shine. And I know that they were very excited about the different things that we had done. So if anyone's ever considering selling a property like this in the mountains, hopefully this little piece of our portfolio gives them a reason to give us a call and see what we could do for them.